First and foremost, good morning, beautiful people. This is your mental health check-in. I know you've probably been wondering, Professor Word, where's Professor Word? We have not heard from her, and I have to give my own mental health update. So, a couple weeks prior, I was assaulted at my apartment complex that I was living at. I had to end up getting my stuff and basically moving overnight into my new complex, which I'm now getting settled in. I'm now safe. Definitely pressing charges and everything getting pressed. It's just been a lot that has been going on this end. However, I've still tried to maintain communication where if you emailed me, received an email back. If your work, you'll notice like your grades are getting in, and I'm almost done with your grades. So I just want to say thank you for your patience. There's a reason why I say mental health is so important, and it's not just for y'all on your end, it's also on mine. And I hope you notice that even though I wasn't able to hop on and do those mental health check-ins, it's because I was focused on my mental health within itself. However, it's okay to, you know, have moments to yourself where you're like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to, I don't think I'm ready to speak on something or show up in this way, but to, in your own way, still show up, right? So in my own way of showing up, it was still maintaining communication with you through email if you needed something through your email, whether it be through the grading process. You had your, you were getting your grades in, still maintaining some sort of communication to make sure that everything is still functioning, everything is still flowing accordingly, but also keep taking into mind that in moments in which you can't be in front of the camera or step up in front, as long as it's not impacting in a way that the machine stops working, you're still good to go, okay? That being said, please let me know how I can show up for you, how I can support you during this time as well. I've been sending out emails to individuals who may need a little bit more assistance in understanding the function and the flow of class. So please keep a lookout for that, because I want to ensure that you all have what you need. I've provided you with the resources. However, sometimes we just need a little bit of extra time or a little bit of extra attention, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. Of course, this week you should have noticed my entertainment law and ethics students. Of course, y'all should have noticed y'all didn't have a case due this week. So your focus is just doing that discussion, all right, and doing like vocabulary feedback when it comes to your submissions. As far as vocabulary, it's pretty much plain and simple. Follow the template, all right? What I'm noticing is I believe people are copying and pasting and not realizing when it comes to APA formatting, there is certain indentation and everything that's needed. You should be downloading. I've seen majority of everyone is doing this. There's just certain individuals who may not have had the time or the moment to look at the mental health check-ins, the previous mental health check-ins, to give the actual breakdown of the how to like download the template. I don't go into any setting thinking that everybody knows how to download or maneuver or move, accordingly. So I do try to make it apparent in that I show up and I do these mental health check-ins to let you know, okay, you probably didn't know that this is the way to download the file from here. Really, it's just going in when you see the template, there's a download button, download it. It'll go to within your browser. It'll show that it's downloading. You just click on that, and then it'll have all the proper indentation set up. It is up to you to make sure that you click the page numbers so your font is consistent throughout your document. Make sure you're selecting everything, and make sure you're really looking prior to submitting if you see that the font is different. It's usually in Times New Times New Romans. So please just keep that in mind. Like, even if you decide to switch it to another font, just make sure the font's consistent throughout the paper, including your page numbers. When it comes to your vocabulary, your in-text citations are needed. I provide the example. I know there's a couple individuals who have just said, I'm just not going to do the in-text citation, or it's possibly that they miss it. Either way, I give a step-by-step process of what it should look like. Please just make sure that you are reading it in the detail that's presented, and not saying, well, I can deviate here, I can deviate there. That is one of the biggest things that I'm trying to teach you all, is the moment that you choose to deviate from what's the deliverable is the moment that you run the risk of termination or getting sued. So if your mind is naturally like, well, I'm just going to do this my way when it comes to this class, do not do that, because this class is teaching you not to do or go into that mindset of I'm going to do it my way. And whatever, I don't care what it says in our contract. No. This agreement could be legally binding in a courtroom, and then you can face termination. You can also be sued. So get in the mindset of, although I love creativity and I'm always going to support you on creativity, this is not the course to do that. Okay. Going on further, like if you don't have any in-text citations, I can't give you credit for your assignment. It's not showing in your reference to back. If you're when it comes to your reference page is strictly for like the reference. However, if you don't have the reference page, you can't do the in-text citations. If you don't have the in-text citations, you can't do the reference page. You need to have both. I lay it out. If you choose to do the opposite of that, what's going to end up happening is you're just not going to get credit for that assignment. I understand things happen. Notice that when it comes to your vocabulary, it's only 5% of your grade. That's by design, because I'm teaching you all the framework and getting you all in the mindset and structure of APA, and you citing your work, so on and so forth. I understand that like there's not pages. When there's not pages, it's totally fine. You're just doing that author and you're doing the year. When you don't have a year, you should be doing the author, comma, N.D. Okay, no date, and there's a period that's supposed to follow after your in-text citations. That's what makes it in-text citations, okay? Other than that, with vocab, like just make sure that y'all are following the template. If it says there's a title, make sure you have that title on your second page. Make sure you're updating your titles. Make sure you're making sure your legal name is on your document as well. It says in your syllabus/contract that you need to make sure that you have that your name and this information there, or you're not going to be able to get credit for the submission, okay? Case briefs, by now you all should have like the lay of the land when it comes to that. Make sure that you're double spacing, updating titles, making sure your name's on your document, making sure your font's consistent throughout your document. Once again, those case briefs are for you. I'm now at the space where I want to upload an example for you all. And I know you're probably like, oh, why didn't you just do this right away? It's because usually you all in the beginning, for the first couple of cases, are in the mindset of, oh, I'll have to do this, I have to do that. And I'm like, no, just focus on doing your case brief. And for those who are still going, you have the choice of doing, the example that's presented. I'm not requiring it. It's just to show you pretty much the information that you should draw from. The case brief template itself tells you that, but this provides more of a visualization of if you're going through the case yourself, and how it's a different way to get the visualization set up for you. From one of my students, Rachel Benson. She's awesome. She's one of my students now still, and she offered and gave me permission to put her example up for you all. That being said, right now, you don't have a case to worry about this week. I hope you were able to breathe through. You still have the ability to work ahead for Module 5. And now that I'm in a safe space, I'll be opening more of the modules. I've just been really making sure that I'm getting your grades done and making sure to answer any correspondence that I have, because I'm not the only person that's having experience or going through what they're going through. So that's always my utmost concern, getting back to you on that end. But you will be seeing the mental health video check-ins back up and running now, because I'm now physically in a safe space and mentally in a safe space to continue on. So my suggestion is that you all start to look at your final paper. Right now, you should be looking to see, okay, what topic do I really want to discuss? Remember, all that you need to score all your points for your assignments has been provided for you. So you have your APA template, all right? Pretty much when it comes to your final, you're going to be, just like you do the subsections for your discussion, you're going to do your subsections for your paper. You don't need the bullet points, but it's still the main process of, filling out your title page and all the information, and then going on. It said, you'll notice in the APA style template says, in this paper, I will be discussing. Pretty much you're going to go through in your syllabus course contract, and you'll go to your finals, like your term paper section, and it'll tell you everything that you're going to be discussing. So you'll say, in this paper, I will be discussing, and all those little bullets that tell you, tell us about the parties, all those are going to be subsections, okay? So you are able to copy and paste those subsections. And then under that, you will be answering like the questions in paragraph format, so on and so forth, okay? Remember, it's that 2,000 word minimum just from copying the question alone for the subsection in itself. That's already adding towards your 2,000 word count, okay? Remember, you have to have 5 sources, okay? You have to have 5 sources. If you give me 4 sources, that means you're gonna miss out on all of your points for your paper, okay? Just make sure that you're answering the substance, like answer all the questions that's being presented. Remember that it can't be cases from the book. You can't pull any cases, even cases that we had not read in the book. You can't pull from those cases. My desire is that you're looking to what's going on this day and age now in this time frame. Even though we use the precedent from older cases, I want you all to understand and see that the law is alive, all right? And there's different cases that are happening that are going to not impact only you, but those who come after you, okay? You're gonna be seeing landmark cases take place because now we have AI. So please make sure that you're trying your best to start now and get set up the structure of your paper now. So for me, for example, what I would do, I would go and I would find the case that I'm interested in now. Then once I find my case that I'm interested in, within like the next couple of weeks, I'll start structuring my paper out. So I'll have my title page with my title and all my information already input. I would go and copy and paste the subsections of the questions that's located in our course syllabus / contract, like who are the parties, all that information under, and I would copy paste and have my subsections already ready. And that would be done for me by next week. That way, all I'm doing is going in and inputting. All I'm doing is going in and making sure everything's done. So that little intro that said, in this paper I'll be discussing, you discuss all those subsections that we talk about, the parties, the procedural history, all that good stuff, right? Then in the end, in your conclusion, all that is it's the past tense. In this paper I discuss, and you talk about what you discuss. So already you could already have your title page done, you could already have your intro done, and you could already have your conclusion done, ultimately, because you're just talking about what we're talking about in the paper, which is the subsections that's presented. So my suggestion is, do not wait till the last minute. Just use this time to breathe, because baby, we can all use a breather. Use this time to breathe. However, do not get into a space of, oh, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm not going to try to even set myself up for success, okay? Other than that, you will all notice there's some individuals when it comes to like vocabulary. I wanted to give a shout out to the individuals who reached out to me and said this word was spelled incorrectly, or, is this supposed to be this way, and reached out. Those individuals received an extra credit point on their vocabulary, okay? And you're like, oh, why didn't you tell us? Like, of course, I have a subsection that says extra credit that I get to determine how I present extra credit all to you all. So with that being said, I love to see who's willing to advocate for themselves, who's willing to go and step up and say, this doesn't seem right. And it's not to say that you don't advocate for yourselves. It's in this particular setting, is it a thing of we're scared? Our professor, or it's a different power dynamic where it's like, well, I feel like this person is supposed to be over this. I want you all to advocate for yourselves. I'm understanding of how it can be intimidating for a lot of folks to go and say, hey, professor, is this right? But that's something that I desire for you all to do, because you're going to get into the industry. You're going to have people that go up there and say, well, this is it, and follow this. But asking questions is how you clarify. Asking questions is how you make sure that what you need to provide, or your deliverables, you have that set, and no one can speak or say anything to you any different, okay? So don't feel bad or like, man, this sucks. No, it's just an extra credit opportunity. I have other extra credit opportunities. Those who already completed their case brief presentations, you notice that you were informed on how your extra credit has been provided, and you're like, wait, hold on, it's that simple? I promise you all, this class is not set up for you to fail. It's for you to learn. And when you remove the fear, then you're able to focus. So for those of you still having to submit your final presentation, reach out to some of the individuals who have completed their presentation, and they'll tell you, hey, actually it was as simple as this. I did what was requested in the contract, and I got my points, and I got my extra credit point there. So keep a lookout for any other extra credit opportunities that I may release, because the little things such as your vocabulary can be wiped away real quick just by completing your extra credit assignments, okay? But I don't want y'all freaking out. It can be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got points deducted here or there. I really want you to take a look back at when you first, and even before my class, look at the papers you've submitted prior to my class, and then compare them to the work that you've been submitting so far, and you will see the difference. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is polished. Wow, this looks real professional. That's the whole point. I am preparing you all not only for my class, but for documents that you may have to submit in the future to another class or at work. And your work is going to be so polished, and your higher ups, team leaders, whoever it may be, they're going to be like, oh, this person's attention to detail, this person's insight is going to set you apart from everyone else. So right now, you probably can't stand Professor Word, and I completely understand that. But I would much rather you not understand me and be like, I can't take it. So when you go out into the world, it's like Mr. Miyagi on Karate Kid. And if you haven't watched Karate Kid, please watch the original Karate Kid. He goes and he's telling him, you're going to wax my car. Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. And then when the time finally came for him to be in the fight, he was able to block all the hits that his opponent was directing at him. And then he's like, wait, hold on. This entire time you've been training? That is pretty much my style of teaching. And you might not understand it in a moment, but then when you're put in a certain position and you're just like, I'm prepared. Wait, hold on. This is what it was all about. It's the aha moments. So I just wanted to remind you that I'm so proud of you. I want to say again, thank you for your patience with me. I know y'all are so used to having your videos throughout the week, but mental health is so important. And I had to make sure that I was in a safe space, not only physically, but also mentally, to even let you know what's going on. But also I wanted to show you that even in me not being able to show up in this manner for you with the videos, that you still had communication with me through email with our correspondence, and that you also had your grades were still getting done. The machine was still working. And so I just want to remind you all of that. Reach out to me, keep the machine still going. Make sure if you need, have those doctor's notes, if you need the doctor's notes, you can do one with your doctor for your physical, but you also have mental health, your therapist as well, that can also be used. Just make sure you get those into me in a timely fashion, usually like within 3 days of you missing whatever is missed. But just keep going. Y'all are almost there. We're almost in the month of March. Like we have, one more week until the month of March. So just make sure you're looking at what's due on your simple syllabus. And once you're done looking at what's due on your simple syllabus, just make sure you're getting everything else done, okay? I'm proud of you. You got this. Keep up the amazing work, and I will talk to you soon.